enjoy the journey, like love the journey. Like I say, every day is a Saturday because it is. Like I love every day, even the bad days, like even the bad days, even the days where I just want to bury my head in the sand. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer, and with Endurance Capital. Hey, look, I want to talk about entrepreneurship and, man, the journey, and just like thinking back. I don't know why. I was listening to a podcast and they were just talking about their entrepreneurial journey, and I started thinking about mine. And I'm like, man, it's been a wild ride. And it's not over, by the way. Like it's just beginning, even though I've been doing it for since 2007, really. And I started actually taking true action. Well, I was taking true action in 2007, but true action in 2008 is when I first bought my first piece of real estate, and it really wasn't a business owner. I was just a guy doing deals, right? And then I started really doing deals in 2009, and I would say became a business owner, and maybe that's a loose term, in 2009, and really dove into being an entrepreneur, and then went full time in 2010. And that's where, I truly started having to think about, like, how can I make this a successful business? What can I do to make it a business? And I started thinking about more and more about business. Not that I wasn't thinking about business prior to that, right? Not that I wasn't like trying to get in the moment, like think about, okay, how can I build this, grow this, right? I mean, right from the start, that's what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do this full time. And in fact, I wanted to quit my job immediately. And my wife's like, no, you can't do that. Like, you're not going to quit your job right now. Like, what do you mean? Come on, I want to quit my job. And she's like, no, it's not how it's going to work. You gotta start making some money before you quit your job. Okay, that's fine. I understand. But when I finally quit my job in 2010, bless my wife for allowing me to quit my job, but that's when it was real. That's when it's like, okay, I got to really truly, like, this is truly has to be a business. I have to figure out how to grow and scale and do things the right way. And so just the journey from when I was starting, and even though, like, okay, so that, I'm buying single family houses, duplexes, quads, things like that, and I'm learning a ton along the way. I'm flipping houses, learning so much along the way. Start bringing in some partners to bring money into these deals so I can do more deals. Again, learn a ton along the way, and then I transition to buying stuff out of state, learn a ton, and then I transition to buying larger apartment buildings. Holy cow! Now we're really drinking from a fire hose. And then I start buying some different stuff. I buy some assisted living. Even before that, I buy a ski resort, mobile home park. Um, buy an industrial build, buy a retail building. It's just like, oh man, drinking from a fire hose every step along the way. And even today, some days I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose, like learning crazy amounts, so much, and how little I knew. I remember when I first started doing syndications, and I'm just trying to, like, figure out how the structure set up, like what to do, and just that journey. And I already been doing real estate for 7 years, 8 years. I've already been doing the real estate for 8 years, and I'm trying to learn, you know, how do I syndicate these deals? And I was just so naive, and not knowing how to do it. I'm, like, I had been taking investor capital, and using it in my flips, and using it in some small apartment buildings, and the lessons I learned along the way. And I look at even my first syndication. So, perfect example, like first syndication. I've been doing this business for a long time. The first syndication, I go to offer it to my investors. Again, I'd been working with investors for a long time, and when I go to investor, it was a pretty simple ask. I had a little pro forma, show them what's going on, like flipping this house. Here's the strategy. You know, this was my last flip. Here's what we did. We made a bunch of money, and do you want to invest in this one? I'll make you X return, and it'll be great. Yeah, no problem. Like, and so that's kind of how I looked at this deal. And so when I offered it to my investors, I literally had a Word document, I turned it into a PDF. Ooh, fancy. Right. I took a Word document. I wrote a business plan. It was just like wordy, like super wordy business plan. It's so cheesy. I looked at it the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. I had some pictures in there. It was just, it was brutal. It was so bad. I did like a little webinar. It was the worst webinar ever. I don't know. I don't know how I raised money for it. I raised $1 million for this deal. It was the worst presentation ever. And then after the deal closed, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to do better at communicating because, you know, I've had these investors in the past, but I just haven't been a great communicator. I haven't been, I'll share the financials kind of here and there, and I'll give them a little update here and there randomly, but I'm just not that great at it, right? I hadn't been doing it, so I'm okay. I gotta get better at this. So I'm, emailing these investors, and then it's just like I again look back and like, man, how embarrassing that like first deal, that presentation was. Even the second deal, much more professional, but uh, the communication just bad. And now I look at what we do is so much better. But I know in a year or two from now, I'm going to look back at that and go, man, what we did then, it was, I mean, it's embarrassing. And I had an investor conversation today, and the investor's like, man, what you guys pre-send, we pre-send. We try to pre-send. Sometimes it's after the conversation, depending on how quickly the conversation is. So if you want to know what it's like to invest with Endurus, set up an investor meeting with me, and we'll talk through what investing looks like and all that kind of stuff. And we send you a kind of an investor package, and in that investor package, shows some of our past deals and some of our track record and things like that. And this guy's like, that was great. I answered pretty much every one of my questions. It was so professional compared to, and I know in a couple of years we're going to look back and go, man, that investor package was just so basic, so elementary. Like kind of embarrassed, by what we were sending out. We've learned so much since then. And same thing with these investor updates. Like I get investors that are like, your investor updates are great. I love them. They're amazing. You get so much information. But I know, and we're already trying to make some changes, and because I know other people do it better than us. And part of it's like fluff, which I hate fluff, but some people like fluff. It's crazy, but people love fluff. Investors love fluff. They love to feel good. And so if it looks fancy, if it's wrapped up in a nice little bow, they like it. And so, okay, well, we probably should make it look a little bit more professional instead of just being a write up. Let's add some fluff to it. Let's make it look a little more professional. I still want the meat and potatoes. Like that's still really important, right? I don't want to just sell the fluff, but some investors love it. And so, okay, I got to cater to everybody, right? So we have to make it a little bit more professional, make it a little more detailed, I guess. The amount of information we give is probably going to be the same, but just in more of a package, right? More of a delivery, better content, right? So, all right, back to I guess my main point as I'm looking at this journey, and I'm going, man, you enjoy the journey, like love the journey. If you're an entrepreneur, and I'm speaking to somebody who's been in it for a long time, and maybe you're like tired, burned out. Maybe you're just like, but I can't find myself again. Like I remember that energy that I used to have. I don't have it. Or maybe you're just beginning or somewhere in between. But man, I just like look back. If you've been in this for a long time, look back. If you're just beginning, and just enjoy, love this journey. It's going to be so crazy, so fun. And if you're not, if like what I'm going to describe is not you right now, and you're beginning this journey, you need to figure out how to make it like this. You need to be drinking from a fire hose. Like I can remember first starting, and I'm reading every little last book I could possibly read. I'm driving to my job, and I'm listening to, tapes and CDs. Right now, you're listening to podcasts, of course, but you should be listening to every single podcast you get your hands on, every audiobook. I would go to the library, and I would buy, or no, I would rent these CD, audio books basically. And that's what I'm listening to. That's what I'm listening to on the way to work. That's what every commute, every single time I jump in the car, I'm listening to that stuff. Every little last second I have of free time, I'm reading a book, right? I'm talking to brokers. I'm talking to contractors. I'm just drinking from a fire hose, and you're going to you have so much that you're learning, and you completely like don't know anything, right? You're just like overwhelmed. You got so much. You're attending conferences, you're meeting people, they're asking you questions. You don't know how to answer them. You feel like an idiot. Half the time you answer a question, you're just like, I don't even know what I just said. I don't know if what I said is true. I don't know if I said like what did I just give that advice? Like what did I just say? Like you have no clue, but you're just drinking from this fire hose. It's so much fun. It's just you just be pumped by it and know that you're going to make mistakes, know that you're going to sound like an idiot at times, and that's totally fine. That's just a part of it. I remember calling these brokers and I'm asking questions and hey, yeah, send me your P&L. Yeah, okay, we can send you a T12. Are you looking for a T12? Like I don't even know what a T12 is. I don't know what you're talking about. It's like don't know how to even talk to these people. But I'm having these conversations and I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm just like, you've got to continue and enjoy, love the journey, love every process. But the other thing too is be taking action. Like if you're not taking action, if you're not making offers on properties, if you're not growing your business, if you're not figuring out how to take the next steps to grow and to get better, and actually be doing instead of like learning. You're always going to be learning, like that's never going to stop, but you actually have to be doing, right? You have to actually get the deals, you actually have to grow your business and that type of thing. So it's not about just enjoying the journey and the fuzzy bunnies and all that kind of stuff. Like no, you're going to be getting crushed at times. Like you're just gonna, those good days you're going to wake up, actually nights you're never going to go to sleep, right? Because you're just like overwhelmed with everything going on. You don't know how you're going to pay that, those 10 bills that are due. You're not quite sure where that money's going to come from, and you're just completely overwhelmed and like just like, geez, this is a crazy journey. But enjoy that process because it, if you, well, first of all, if you can't enjoy it, it's just going to drive you crazy. It's just going to drive you crazy. Like you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I think, being an entrepreneur is not easy. Like being a business owner is not easy. Doing this journey is not easy. There's days that are amazing and you're going to love it and you're going to feel on top of the world. But then there's other days and it doesn't matter what portion. Like, look, if you're listening to this and you've been doing business for 25 years, this is resonating with you because you had a day not that long ago that you just felt completely defeated. You probably had a month or two, or even a year or two, where you just felt completely defeated. You just felt like you just got crushed. Like things aren't going right. People are quitting. You had to fire people, whatever it might be. Like things just are not going your way. And you're just like, this sucks. Right. And that happens as an entrepreneur. And you have to embrace it. It's not fun in the moment, but working through it is so freaking rewarding. Like getting through to the next side and you're just like, yes, now we're there. Now we've got control back. Now we're gonna crush it, right? We're gonna do awesome. And sometimes the bumps come and you feel like you work through it and all of a sudden 3 days later another bump comes and you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is never gonna end. And that's okay, but working through it, just grinding, right? Just being persistent, consistent, and just continuing to push through. It's so rewarding in the end when it starts to happen again, right? And you start to get that momentum back, and then you start to crush it. And so enjoy the journey, the negatives that are just kicking you, just hurting you, and the positives that are just you're just high, you're just loving life, you're just every second, every minute. Like I say, every day is a Saturday because it is. Like I love every day, even the bad days, like even the bad days, even the days where I just want to bury my head in the sand. I don't love it at the time, right? Maybe at that day I don't love it, I wish it would pass, like, but it does pass. Like this shall pass, right? And then I'm like, man, that I love it because it was worth it. Like it was worth the the time, it was worth the headache, it was worth the hassles, worth the sleepless nights, because now we're on top again. And so just enjoy the journey, take action, and be relentless, right? Relentless pursuit is going to get you to where you want to be, and continue to push forward. So love it. Entrepreneurship is It's not for everyone, but it's a man, it's a blast. And continue to learn, continue to grow. Look, if you've been doing this business for a long time, don't give up that hunger. One of the uh, things I love is talking with younger people. I met with this guy the other day. He's in his early 20s, and I was just listening to him and looking at his face, like looking at his eyes and like looking at his face and his expressions, and he's just excited, and like everything I said, he's like just grabbing onto and just loving it. And every time he's talking, he's so excited about what he's doing and like the growth he's going through. And you can tell like it's not maybe always easy for him, but man, it's so fun to watch that energy and feed off of that. Like use that if you're going through a hard time, and find people that are just loving what they're doing and maybe are having some success. It's also important to find people that are also going through the same thing. I think as long as it's a good positive person that is working through those things. But man, it's so fun. I feed and get so much energy from younger people or older people that are, but they're just doing awesome things, right? And they're loving the journey that they're in right now. And go, man, all right, like I gotta step it up. Like I gotta step it up right now. I want to make sure I'm doing things better. I want to make sure I'm rushing it every day. Like, did I show up today? And I think that's so important to ask yourself. Like, I got to start doing it more myself. What I used to always ask myself at the end of every day, like I'd go to bed, I'd get into bed and be like, okay, what did I do today? What did I accomplish? Did I crush it today? Or what did I leave out on the table? And I think you got to be honest with yourself. Like, ask yourself that question. Like, did I crush it today? Or did I get distracted? Well, what did I do? Okay, let's look back. Like, okay, what time did I wake up this morning? Okay, what did I do this morning right when I woke up? Oh, I went onto my phone. I spent so many minutes on the phone. Oh, geez, did I really crush it this morning? No, I actually didn't. Like, what can I do? I got to make sure tomorrow I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna actually do X, Y, Z. Like, I'm gonna crush tomorrow, right? And what did I do during the day? Like, did I crush it or did what was my journey today? Like, I think that's super important to reflect back. Like I said, I used to do that almost every single day. I need to start doing it again. I haven't done that as much, but I'll lay in bed and literally spend, um, I don't know, probably until I fall asleep, just like going through my day. Uh, Journal it, like journal it. You know, if you can't do it, if you fall asleep to it, you can only get like partway through. Like, what did I do at 8 a.m.? And all of a sudden you're zonk out and you're sleeping. Like that's well, that's not going to help you. But I think it's so important to really look back and say, what did I do today? Did I leave it all on the table? Did I improve today? Did I get a little bit better today, or did I get worse? And what do I need to do tomorrow to get better? Like, how can I get better? How can I continue to improve? How can I continue to create this journey that I'm going to love, that I'm going to look back at in 10, 20, 30 years, and I'm just going to go, man, that was awesome. Talk about the ride I went on. Talk about where I've been. And by the way, it's not all written, right? It's not all written. So we're gonna continue to crush it. So that's where I'm at, man. I've been doing this, and I've had a journey obviously before it, right? We all start from from different places, but I've been in this business for a long time now, and I've had so much fun. Back in my days of flipping houses, buying small rental properties. I've got story after story. I met with this guy today, and he is, what did he say he was? He was 73 years old. Met with him, and we were exchanging some landlord stories. He's telling me how, and this guy is not filtered, so it was a lot of fun. He's like, I shouldn't tell you this fun. So it was a lot of fun listening to him, but we're telling each other these stories, and it's just so fun to be able to talk about some of the things and the things we've been through, and he's telling me about some of the stuff he's been through. And listen to people that are older and wiser than you, and hear what they've had and what they've experienced and the things that they've seen. It's just a lot of fun to go through it. So all right, man, just love it, enjoy the journey, take massive action, continue to improve every single day, continue to improve, continue to get better, continue to love every day. and embrace it, and know that if you're going through a tough time, that will pass. If you're in amazing times, know that that won't stick around for forever. Like, keep on grinding, keep on pushing, keep your head up, keep your head on a swivel. Like, know and understand that's not forever. And so you got to keep on pushing, because all of a sudden harder times will come. And so, not to be looking for them, but to be aware of them, right? So, all right, love every day. And you have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day a Saturday.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. Say, I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. But your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.